All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started, everyone. We don't have as much time as we normally have. So today's conversation was requested by several persons, and I'm excited that people feel comfortable enough to come to us and say the things that they need in the community. And for all of you all, that if something comes up and you want to know more about it, you need to explore it, please come to me or give it to one of the community health workers, and we will do our very best to make sure that you get the information you need, okay? So I want to say, first off, welcome, everyone. And can you do me a favor? Can you just clap for yourself just for showing up? Yeah. How about that? Right? Absolutely. Because sometimes we don't show up for ourselves like we need to, but I appreciate you all for being here, okay? So our conversation today is healthy connections, a guide to safe intimacy after 50. And so, according to the CDC statistics, STDs, which is sexually transmitted diseases, and HIV is on the rise for our seniors 50 and older. And so we need to have this conversation, and we need to normalize this conversation, because most of the time we can talk about diabetes. We can talk about our hypertension. We can talk about our aches and pains, right? We can talk about all those things, but very, very small amount of us will actually have a conversation around sexual health, right? Which again is part of our health, right? And so I just want us to have this conversation. And normally when you hear it, we most of the time think of what? When you hear someone talk about STDs, what do you hear? You usually think, what comes to your mind first? Young people, right? But actuality is on the rise in our senior community. And we want to know, what is sexual health like? How does that fit me? And then how do I make sure that I'm safe? Okay? Now, because I can't tell you, no, I can't tell you not to. Because you're grown. You're going to do what you want to do. But what I want you to do is make healthy decisions. All right? And be able to speak up for yourself. All right? Yes, ma'am.
Is this majority coming from sexual activity, or is it not clean? Genitals, bad blood, you know what I mean?
It's coming from sexual intercourse and not being safe. Because you're going from, and I'm going to show you this video here right quick. We'll kind of set the thing for us, okay? But I want us to be thinking about it, and we're going to do a quick activity because I want you all to think about how do I even start this conversation with my provider? Because most of the time, when we do go see our providers, if we are having this challenge, how many of us actually say anything? Right? Because we're probably embarrassed or whatever the case is, right? But I really want us to normalize things because it is a part of our health. All right? Okay. So we're going to watch this video right quick.
Jack, this is LAFD. Will you please let us in?
Not until those ungrateful vultures stop circling.
Dad,
Hey,
ungrateful. Who's giving peace for this place?
you sold my house to pay for it.
No, that's not a rash.
When did the symptoms start? A few weeks back. You know, I figured to go away on its own, like crabs.
Maybe Donovan else. There's something you don't see every day.
What kind of an 82-year-old gets an STD?
Actually, I have more than you think. Chlamydia, syphilis, on the rise and below 65.
Everyone, my father, Jack, here, has a flesh-eating STD. So, whomever he's been sleeping with should come to the hospital with us for immediate treatment.
Okay. women that he slept with. You should probably get that checked out too. What kind of place is this?
Jack, this is LAFD. Will you please let us in?
Not until those.
Okay. So as funny as that may be, it's serious, right? And so I just want us to have this safe conversation. Now, the way he did it, I wouldn't have done it that way because, we don't want to shame anybody. Like, my dad got the this, and whoever thought with my dad need to come forward. And she just stood up so proudly, like, she didn't budge it. Me, I've right been in the corner somewhere, like, I'll meet you there. I know. So, and then you see here, he's locked behind the doors, and they're like, well, why don't you come out? I'm not coming out, them vultures, right? So, it's not necessarily one sex over the other, like the male is worse than the female. It's both, right? It's male and female. So, let's kind of talk about that a second, okay? All right. So, I want you to take this time and think about, I want you to turn to your neighbor and I want you to ask, what is one dating relationship, what about dating relationship has changed from the 30s up until now? Right? So what about the dating has changed when we were 30 versus now?
Some age-wise,
Just anything that comes to you. Online dating. Key. All right. What else has changed since?
Just
The role
it's
has
very
changed.
freely about just doing that, It's not just, I'm just saying, it's not more, just out there doing things, just doing things, just keep doing
Uh-huh. No discretion.
Yeah, right, that's what I was looking for.
Okay. Yeah. No discretion. Anything else changed?
It seems, I don't know, but it seems like the gender roles have changed. Like the woman is more aggressive and the one who will speak up, and it used to be the other way around.
Yes.
More women, yes, this is it, more daring, just out there doing things.
The morals of society have changed. Oh my goodness. That's a good one. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to say that the LGBTQ community, that there is a cross-section of people being what they call bisexual. That's correct. And so that's aiding in the spreading of diseases.
Absolutely.
It seems like a lot of more men became comfortable with coming out at an older age, more acceptable. So you start seeing like more 60 plus couples
Doing a lot of things. Yeah. Anybody else want to add? Same-sex marriages, yes, which is what is there absolutely. Anybody else want to add? People are getting married less. Absolutely. And what about the notion of, because I'm older or I'm a senior, I'm past a certain age, well, I can't produce babies, that it's not going to affect me? Which means that you don't take the precaution that you should take because you're not thinking, I'm not going to get pregnant. Right? You just, yeah, right? So, but you all got some good insight. Okay. So, okay, you all know who I am. Okay. So the dating landscape, is definitely growing. And the numbers are actually staggering. It's almost like, according to CDC, they're up like 56%. And HIV is up about 47%.
And for the general public or for a certain
For
demographic?
seniors, 50 and over. And so this conversation today is about sexual health, just being well. Okay? Just being well. Because there's nothing, I just want to say that at the top. There's nothing wrong with it, right? We just need to learn how to be safe with it. And just like we saw this gentleman here in the long-term care facility, because actually, y'all probably need to take this message to the long-term care facility, right? Look, seriously.
A guy just told me that he called a couple of her friends. A lady came by to visit him and they got caught in the room. Where they go? What you mean?
When I first moved here, I worked at this nursing home called Ebenezer, one on Park, and I went to the night time. And there was Joseph, I think. He was a cat dad, as he called him. And his wife was on one end, he was cruising the air with all the women. And then, one night I heard all the screaming and hollering. So I went down there, half of this woman had to do all these things doing out. But anyway, she was screaming out, get him off. Right. But he was a cat dad, he was calling. You know what I mean? He had everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I add that if you have dementia, that does not mean your body is not functioning the way it always does. So those desires are there. And people forget.
Absolutely.
And they started adopting. Matter of fact, I have a relative who has it. He started thinking somebody else was his wife in this facility. So I stopped there.
Absolutely.
I saw something like that too, where a guy fell in love with another lady in this facility. His wife can do that.
Right. And
So in love with the other.
right. And so again, especially in a nursing home, they're vulnerable adults. So the facility has a responsibility to make sure that these occurrences are not happening. Right? And so when you see them, please say something. Please say, go report it. Don't just don't just see it and look at it and go hee hee ha ha. Because again, if the person do have dementia, they're not recognizing that they are engaging in something that they're not really saying yes to because they really don't know what they're doing, right? So all I'm asking is if you see it, say something. Go to the authority. And if you can't get through to that authority, then guess what? It's called a vulnerable adult. That you can actually call and leave a message anonymous. All right? So I just want to add that because I don't want people to be abused like that. Okay? All right. And so we said that the STIs or the STDs, sexually transmitted infections or STDs, sexually transmitted diseases are on the rise for our seniors. Okay. What is a sexually transmitted disease? Name some. Syphilis, gonorrhea, herpes, HIV, trichomonas, chlamydia. That's necrotizing fasciitis. Necrotizing fasciitis is the flesh-eating disease, so that's not considered an STD. Yeah.
They were just saying that on the show
So,
to make it.
yeah.
Now, the one you mentioned, what was that called again? Trichomonas? I never heard of that one.
Trichomonas falls in that same family, sexually transmitted disease. So you have syphilis, you have gonorrhea, you have trichomonas, you have chlamydia, you have HIV, you have herpes, and they also have the new one called HPV. Right? Yes, ma'am.
So I knew that there was one specific. So frontotemporal dementia is particularly associated with hypersexuality, which individuals may express sexual interest more. I knew it was one of the dimensions that was more prevalent to that. So it's the frontotemporal. It's the one that Bruce Willis has.
Correct. Which makes the person what? More vulnerable, right? That's dementia. That's part of the dementia.
What is dementia?
Okay. So 17% of adults 50 plus have used dating sites or apps, which is one of our challenges, right? So one challenge is the dating sites because we're not using them correctly. 2, we're not having a real conversation with the person we're desiring to be intimate with. We're not being honest, right? So even if you look at this gentleman here that we looked at, he had this rash, and I'm sure he didn't say anything to anybody that he was having intercourse with, right? So, and even the person that, and hopefully because it was in a nursing home, hopefully it was consensual. If it wasn't, shame on the nursing home, right? But if it was consensual, as adults, we have a responsibility to have this conversation, right? So, we know what the STDs are. We know that more than 50% of Americans with HIV are now 50 plus. That's a lot.
So good.
That's a lot, right? And so what that says is, if I'm going to date, right, and I'm considering having sexual intercourse or sexual relationship with someone, I have a responsibility to have that hard conversation before we have it, right?
Yeah.
Because if I don't, guess what? Whatever he got, like all those people stood up, we now start spreading it unknowingly. And okay, how can I say this? So if you do contract an infection and you start to see rashes, and red raises, and it's itchy, and you have excessive pus coming from your private area, don't ignore it. Go and see a provider and be comfortable. Even if you're uncomfortable, even if you need to write it on a piece of paper and slide the paper to the doctor. You can't even open your mouth and say it. I just need you to get this information to your provider and say, I've had intercourse with blah, 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 and these are the symptoms I'm experiencing. Because if you go see the provider about hypertension, and you know that you've had this itch or burn or rash for over a week, and all you talk about is hypertension, you walk out of there, guess what? Whatever is there is still going to be there. Why? Because you never got anything to treat it. So now you just reinfect, and you reinfect, and you reinfect, okay? Which can be deadly. Let me just put that out there. All right? Yes, ma'am.
Tell me if this is true. So I've read that typically men don't even really show symptoms like women do, especially for things like chlamydia and stuff like that. Like they don't even have symptoms.
They have them, but maybe not as pronounced as we do.
And then a lot of times people ignore that.
And they ignore them, right? Because, like, yeah. And right, and because statistically, men don't really go to get physical, statistically. So if they got a little ailment or itch or something brewing somewhere, they'll probably ignore it because normally that's what they do in the first place, right? Whereas women, some of us, we be on it, like, something ain't right. There's a lump, there's a scar, there's a scratch, there's an itch, there's something, right? And so that's why I believe men, just statistically, men just don't go somebody. I wish they would.
I go.
Thank you.
Something ain't right.
Thank you for going.
Yeah, it's burning or whatever.
Absolutely.
Doing things that, if you take your medical checked out, head daddy, baby, go ahead and sit down.
Right.
Hey, I mean, I'm being straight up. You know, go ahead. I'll stop.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I have a aunt that's very close to her. She was married for 60-something years. And once her husband died, she was having problems with her eyesight. So she went to the doctor. And anyway, they started running tests. They found out that she had had surgery. And she had had it, whatever. And so, and still today, she's having problems. Yeah, because it was untreated. Yeah.
So while we're on that, before we get to myths versus reality, which one would you think is curable versus incurable? Syphilis, curable or incurable? Curable. Yes. Hepatitis B, curable or uncurable? Uncurable. Right? Gonorrhea, herpes simplex, uncurable.
What's that?
Herpes,
I know her.
that's what it is called, herpes simplex virus. That's the name. Simplex.
They got different ones.
Yeah. No, not that cold. Not that one. Not that. Not that herpes.
But it's karma sometimes perfectly right. A cold sore.
Yeah, a cold sore, but we're not talking about the cold sore. Right.
Okay.
We're talking about the vagina. Oh my God. The vajayjay one. Okay. Yeah, the vagina one. It's uncurable. It's incurable. Yes.
So that means that person's not going to get healed for the disease with, that's it.
Right. And usually they're on medication for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely. That's what somebody's got to do.
Well, not necessarily, because you have people that have been diagnosed with HIV and are sexually interactive, but they're safe with medication. Right? So that doesn't, you don't have to necessarily hook up with someone just because you got the disease. No, you don't have to do that.
You think sort of medication, but your HIV stops it from transmitting.
Right. It stops it from being live and active.
The ones be on TV all the time, they be talking about.
Correct.
Is that the point?
Huh?
It makes people go crazy.
Okay, what about chlamydia? Curable or incurable?
Curable.
What about trichomonas? And what about HPV?
No.
Not curable. Incurable.
That's the one that
All that new stuff.
That's that new one.
isn't that the one that they give, you have to take the
injection.
at a certain age? Because I know
Yeah.
my daughter had to take it and I couldn't because I was underage.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So those are incurable. All right. So myth or reality? Older adults don't get STIs or STDs. Myth or reality? Risk exists at any age with any sexual activity. It's too late to learn about safe sex.
It's never too late. You better learn about it. Call up. Ain't no get called up.
Right. It's never too late to have a conversation with your mate about safe sex. Never too late. Doesn't matter where you are in the process. It's never too late. All right? Very good. Okay. So now let's talk about, I told you about the sexual health is a state of physical, emotional, and mental, social well-being as well. Because if you are, let's say for instance, you out with a group of friends and you probably slept with someone maybe a couple of days ago, whatever the case is, and now you find yourself you know, you're sitting at the dinner table trying to have dinner and you socially awkward, but you don't want to say anything. So sexual health is part of whole health. I just really want y'all to understand, okay? And it's okay to talk about it, but the key is finding someone safe to talk to. Not someone that you tell and then they gonna tell somebody, and then they gonna tell somebody, and they gonna tell somebody. You need someone that's gonna be honest with you and say, okay, I hear you. Did you make an appointment with the doctor? Do you need me to go with you? I don't have to go in, but do you need me to go with you? Right? Hold people accountable. And then when they go, check back in with them. Because we need to take care of you. I mean, in a sense, you take care of you, but because I'm your friend, I'm going to check in on you. And say, hey, girl, how did that go? Or, hey, fella, how did that go? How was the appointment? You got any questions, concerns, whatever the case is. Like, what can I do to support you? Because what I don't want to happen is what she just explained. Because you didn't take care of it, now it's spilled off into something totally worse. Right? And it's curable. Right? Okay. Okay. So now, let's look at some sexual health importance. Right? So what would be important when we think about sexual health? Name some things. What would be important? Protection. Conversation. Yeah, that will definitely keep you out of trouble. What's that saying about the drugs? Just say no to drugs. Just say no to sex. No. Well, very good. I love it though. You ain't dead. Don't do nothing at all. All right. And so, just quickly, some changes that occur as we age. Because we age. And things are not the same as if we were 20. Right? So, do anybody know what some changes are as far as women and men? What are some things that change about our sexual organs as we age?
Dryness. It gets dusty.
Right. Very true. Huh? Maintaining.
Yeah.
Okay. No. What happened?
No, I'm coming from men.
Maintaining. What's maintaining? Explain that to us. We don't know what that is. You're talking over our head. What is that? Huh?
I got mine.
That's what men or women? Is that for men?
But men, yeah. Maintaining.
Maintaining what?
After a certain you can't do for hours.
Exactly.
Stamina. Okay, now I follow. Gentlemen, can you please explain stamina? What does that mean? Because if we don't, some of us don't know. What does that mean?
You're young at 17, 18. All.
I wouldn't say all the night, but you able to last a bit long.
Oh,
That's what I
gotcha.
mean. When you get to a certain age, you ain't able to last, if you go in the natural way.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. What was that?
I got a question.
No, I was saying you taking a blue pill or
Oh,
some kind of
yeah.
medication and stuff like that. Because if you on medication, it stops. I'm talking for me. If you ain't gonna be able to get it up, you gonna be able to maintain it. You got for 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, that's it. That's what I mean.
Okay.
I didn't want to say that, people hard on, I didn't want to,
Thank you for being honest.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you lose that. You lose that.
Okay. Hold on one second. Hold on. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the question, so you're saying, stamina, that's the thing that changes when you get older.
Men, right.
What else besides that changes as you age? Stamina for everybody. So I'm saying for you guys, what is the desire?
No, the desire is still there, but it's not
Not as much.
much as that. Right.
But any physical changes.
Yeah. The body changes.
That's what I'm asking. I'm not trying to get them to get to that, but like we're saying specific changes. They're saying can't go as long as.
Well, no. You don't get an erection. You hit that. Okay, that's what same thing. You don't get an erection.
Right.
So it takes other things that you have to do to be, that the body changes.
Right.
Anything else though? That's the same.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Right.
Anything else?
How do the women take?
Okay, let me share. Thank you all for sharing. Okay, what did she say? I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
When I said that, that's kind of like a lack of interest. You might, you're less interested the older. It doesn't mean that you don't have any interest.
Yeah.
But you have
Less interest. Very good. Very good point. Okay, so this is what the books point out. Physical changes for women decrease estrogen levels, affecting vaginal lubrication. Change in vaginal elasticity. Okay? And it may affect your comfort during intimacy because of the vaginal changes. Okay? For men, it says changes in erectile function. Right? And then longer time needed for arousal, which is what you all just said.
Yep.
And then changes in hormone levels. Right? So your testosterone decreases, just like our estrogen decreases. Okay? So those are some changes. Now, thank God they got stuff out there that can help you if you need it. But again, we need to be safe. That's the key. Okay? All right. So what can you use to be safe? We just mentioned one. Actually, we mentioned a couple. Abstinence is one. Condoms is another one. Huh? A penny? What's on the penny?
My grandma told my wife, well, when she was real young, just put a penny between your legs, hold it.
Hold the penny. Maybe that means you ain't getting it at all. Hold on one second. Yes, sir.
One other thing I haven't heard from elderly people like myself, memory.
Memory. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, how to. Mm-hmm. Lord have mercy.
Wait, let's go back really about what you need to do. That's what you need about God. Oh, forgot. Oh, okay.
I'm done. wanted you all to get a quick look at kind of like this is one of what the bacteria may look like once they take. They have to do a. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it's not up there. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I don't have the jingle. But this is kind of what it looks like. At least one. This is gonorrhea. And the only way they will actually find that is they do put, scrape whatever the rash is or the oozing and put it on the petri dish and then it grows, right? And so this is what it could look like, at least one of them, right? All right, and so now I want us to just kind of quickly talk about, we have a few minutes here, quickly talk about, talk about romance. That's what it's said.
Well, I put it that way. I told people in my class, and look, hey, I think you know. Look. What I told people in my class, just to come him, that we're going to be talking about romance out of 50.
Okay.
But basically the same.
Well, this is the pre.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Right? Because before we start continually to engage in intimacy,
Right.
we need to talk about safety first.
Exactly.
Because we need to get these numbers down. That's what's important to me.
Yeah.
Because I want you to be around to continue to enjoy your mate. And if you are infected with something and you don't know how you got infected or what to do about it, guess what? We're just going to make things worse, right? And you won't even be able to enjoy. Because you got stuff itching and crawling and moving and all that kind of stuff, right? So. Right.
No, what? Why not? You is it? We don't talk about it. No, that's what I'm saying. That's the discussion. You got to have the conversation.
Yeah.
And that's the deal. And I feel real. You need conversation. If you into this person, let's talk about it.
Right.
I'm gonna talk. I ain't afraid to say nothing.
But the fact of the matter is, you gotta go back. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and step up. Go ahead and step up.
Right, okay, so.
Yeah, we do it together.
Right.
And we step out together to make sure everything is okay. And when everything is okay, hey, guys, listen. You have the conversation. You have to have the conversation with your mate.
Right.
Let's go have our sex together.
Right.
We get the results and say, okay, everything is good, and all that stuff like that. Come on, nothing crying.
Y'all are stuck now. Okay, listen. Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so speaking of conversation, how do we have the conversation?
Me personally, I start.
How do you start this
Okay.
uncomfortable conversation?
What you got to know your mate first.
Yeah. Okay.
You got to know your mate first and say, okay, let's sit down and talk. You've been out with this person because I have done this, and that's not somebody told me. Let's sit down and let's talk. And that's real talk. Because I've been around a while. You've been around a while. And so we're going to make this relationship last and we're going to get involved and stuff. Let's go have ourselves checked out. Because you want to go to the next level. By going to the next level, that's what I mean. So we need to discuss this together. So what I mean is somebody said, well, I'm fine. No, you're not. Now we're going to have ourselves checked out. We're looking at the results together.
And I love that. And I really, my hope is that all people will have that same attitude, right? But the reality is all don't.
Yeah.
And so that's why you all in here, right?
Well, here's this conversation.
Right. That's why you all in here, so that you can arm yourself with the how to. Okay? Anybody else want to add anything? Yes, ma'am.
Y'all help it together.
Okay. Okay. And that's, you're right, that's her relationship. They good with it. We ain't got nothing to say about it. Yes, ma'am.
It's my husband.
Okay.
Been out in the street. And I know when you ain't coming home, how about we not do that?
The weakness, baby.
I'm serious, you go to the doctor.
Okay. I ain't doing nothing.
I ain't gonna let no comment.
Hey, I ain't doing
We're
nothing.
not together.
Okay.
But you ain't been coming home.
Well, I've been working.
I ain't been nothing with me.
I've been working. I got to be here.
All right. I get it. Good role play though. Good
Saying that a lot of times people that are married probably not using condoms. Yes. But then for us, that church and preach to people, we always tell people wait until you get married. Even those of us that are older. And then people mindset is okay, I'm gonna wait, and if you wait, you're just jumping it, and you don't do nothing about asking or anything. Because now I'm married now, right? And so I can just do anything, and then they'll forget to ask that question. But my thing is, you ask that question before you even get married, or well, because you go
The conversation first.
Right. You have a conversation. It doesn't matter where you are in a relationship. If you're considering marriage, if you're in a marriage, and even if those questions are in your mind, like she just said, you're here, you're not here, you come in all times of the night. I don't know what's going on in your life, right? Because you're not communicating, right? And so if your mate, whether male, the husband or the wife, is having these questions, then it's important for us to have these conversations. And if they say, and then again, if it puts proper argument, hopefully it doesn't. It's just about having a whole healthy relationship. This is my concern. We can go to the doctor together. You go, I go, and then we'll get the results and we can sit down and have a conversation. Right? It's really about open communication. And if we start off not having these conversations, we get into these relationships and things happen and you don't know how to have a conversation. And then you end up not having a relationship. Right? So you all brought up some good things, right? And also because it's okay for us to say, I got diabetes.
Yeah.
We'll tell that in a minute. Oh, I broke my knee. But most of us won't talk about sexual health. Okay? All right. And I would also add, when you have these types of conversations, it actually deepens your relationship. It brings you closer. It opens up a band of trust. Right? It's almost like a threefold cord that cannot be broken. But if you don't have these conversations, anything can get in and just break it all up.
And it goes back to when you meet somebody for a nightclub or whatever, and you meet somebody, you're going to take them home, and you don't know that person. You haven't drunk that much. Well, so-and-so looks good to me. You go home and you wake up, I'm next to this person. No, you ain't that high.
Look.
You ain't that high. They take a shower. Cool down.
Yes, sir.
If you ain't drunk that much, then you got to deal with stuff for the rest of your life. Come on. Deal for the rest of your life. You got to deal with that. You met that person, you don't know. Ain't that rough? I was young, crazy, but now I got older. I know that. I don't know.
mean, it's about being wise and having confidence in yourself because as I'm speaking for women, as we age and you don't want to deal with all that foolishness, people have to understand the difference between dating and being, you know, in a relationship and to know somebody because you feel like, okay, I'm doing me and I'm doing what I want to do. You jumping in the bed with this person, that person, and everything just because you feel like, and that's not confidence. That's stupidity. Say that.
Yeah, very true. It's a good point. So then that begs the question. If I am hopping from partner to partner, what's going on inside of me that's causing me to do that? Right? That's a whole nother conversation. Right?
No, it's not. Come on, no, it's not. Everybody is different. I know women like that.
Yeah.
Everyone is different. No, it's not. Exactly.
That's a myth, you say.
No, men just be talking outside of the net. This one right here don't be doing that. I want to live. I want to live and be healthy. Ain't nothing, no. Stop here. Stop.
All right.
I get carried away sometimes, but I'm good. Live. We go to the store.
I wanted to share this with you all. So let's say, for instance, we have some persons that maybe don't know how to have this conversation, right? Some people just not there yet, okay? And so one could be the direct, which is kind of what you either gonna tell me or you ain't. We going or we ain't. So like, he gonna hit it head on, right? And then we have the story-based approach, right? So an example could be, I have a friend who learned they have, I have a friend who learned the importance of discussing health before becoming intimate with someone. It made me realize I should be having these conversations too. So that's a way to kind of introduce to your friend, right? You're not saying you're saying somebody else, right? So that's one way. Another way is mutual respect approach. So I care about both of us. I care about both of our well-being. And I want to make sure we're both comfortable and safe before moving to the next level. Can we discuss our health and the concerns that we have? Right? Now, you may not sound like that. It may be in your own vernacular, but just know that there's more than one way to approach the conversation. Because some people can be very direct and the other person may feel like, you know, then you have some that can bring it in a conversation, some that can, you know, maybe you be watching something and it may spark an idea or a thought and you may stop the show and say, hey, let's talk about that. Because that's another soft way to introduce what it is you want to say. Yes, ma'am.
So can you tell us what program that was, what season, what episode? Because that would be something, right?
Well, actually, this is actually a gentleman, he just teaches. So that's just a short. That's not a movie.
Okay.
That's just it's called B-roll. So he just created that off of his own information.
But that was that I seen that episode.
Where?
I seen on TV. Yeah,
Where?
that's
Really is a show.
the show.
Oh, I don't know.
It was
You find it for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was a B-roll.
911 back.
911. Okay.
Yeah, it's an episode.
Okay. Well, look it up and find it, and we can definitely look at it. And then another one too. I was looking at as I was putting all this together. What is that new? I don't even know if it's still on or not. It's called what's it? The Bachelorette with the senior man.
Yeah. The gold. I think it's called the gold.
Yeah. Is that still on? I don't even know if it's still on. think it was this gentleman, this older guy that was handsome, buff, had all his stuff together. And then you got one man, you got 100 women trying to go off of one man, and he kissing her. Anyway.
Nurse Kecia, let me say something about how to bring stuff up. Yeah, I'm mostly direct, but again, you're right. But I would say to people, say, well, we want to take our relationship to the next level, and we need to talk. You know what I mean? Before we go to the next level, we need to talk about other things that we need to do. You know what I mean? And then you can do it like that. You let your partner know that I care about you, and I want to take you to the next level. So we need to do that for you and for me. So you know what's going on with me, and I know what's going on with you. And you can do it like that. And then if that person don't want to do that, then you say, well, we can't take our relationship to the next level. We need to decide. And then, then that's the bottom line. If I'm going to ask you to marry me and stuff like that, we need to know what's going on. And you can do it in a nice way.
I agree. I totally agree. Oh, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Well, I kind of think, you still need to, you still play Russian roulette with your life because you done took it to the next level already, and you need to have this shit checked out. That's me. I would do that because sometimes, like my grandmother used to say, flesh crawl. You sit up there with somebody, and all of a sudden you make, you get crawling and stuff. Y'all know what that means, like flesh crawl. Y'all know what that means? You lay next to somebody. And all of a sudden you get talk and stuff like that, stuff happens. That's what it was.
Flesh, spirit, flesh, man. Right.
And that's what we call it down south. So that's what I'm saying. But I still think you need to have that conversation with your man.
Absolutely. At any time of the relationship.
Yeah. Just have us check out. Make sure I know you know.
Right. Yes, ma'am.
It sounds like you need to do just regular. We need to have a regular sexual whatever class. So we got from the royal age, all the way to
the young folks.
Yeah,
I agree.
It sounds like we need to
yes, absolutely. This is a great conversation. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to ask, and like I said, anybody can answer. So when you are, let's say you're in a long-term relationship, or even this is your spouse, but things have happened, and now you don't feel comfortable having sex without a condom, and your significant other is adamant, like, I'm not wearing it, like, to the point where it's called friction. In the relationship, how do you go about it? How do you talk to that person there and make them see that that's what I was not to there? There has to be a non-bias in there, or you're always going to keep
right.
But do you have options? There's not a fold and you in. You have options. You have options.
The lights was turned down low, and, a couple drinks has been had, and you don't use one what? All of a sudden you refuse.
First of all, you don't let the lights go down there. You don't drink that much. This is happening in just,
But if you've been in a long-time relationship that goes like that, and it works like that,
well, somebody
and then all of a
can't go like
sudden,
that because somebody's upset.
We already have an example of that. So we can't say, we got to look at it realistically because it does happen. And it happens in a lot of marriages.
it happens up here first.
And that's what I'm
But
saying.
it happens up here.
But that's kind of like after that.
You know, it's before.
you've been with them 10 years.
I think
No, her in this situation, she's talking about one of these two people he's talking about is having a problem. So she's not even going to be comfortable with the lights going down low because she knows where it's headed. And so it's not going to happen like that because she's stopping it because she has an issue. So it's going to keep being this because he's turning down lights, pouring a little bit more drink, and she's seeing this happening and she knows where he's going.
Yeah.
And so she's already like, ooh, I don't know, and so she
Right. So, go ahead. You want to say something?
Allow him to say what he's saying he's not going to do, and you're not going to do it with it. So you can agree to disagree, okay? But there's other options for yourself. You can satisfy yourself, you know? And you can better, whatever, you know, but you're talking about yourself, right? So there's other options for you, you know? And it's not always divorce, and it's not always that we got to keep arguing and bumping heads. You know,
Can I say this?
But in a relationship, what's the purpose of the relationship?
Yeah, you can have.
Right. And so,
That's the whole purpose, but I mean,
yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I think you come to a point where you have to make a decision if you're going to go forward.
Right.
If you want to stay in a relationship, and that's not working for you. If you're concerned about your health, he's not, I don't know if it's about his pride or whatever it is, but you got to make a decision. Okay, so you can't move forward like this. So here's some things you need to do. Right. Maybe you need to go to therapy and talk to somebody. That's right. Or I want to do this, do that, whatever. But you have to come up with a plan and exercise.
Correct.
But you're not happy. You're not happy.
I love that. I love that. I love that you have options. You always have options. No one should ever feel like, and again, I think we need to make this a whole nother class with having a conversation about relationships. However, no one should ever feel like they're stuck. That's right. Ever. Even if your back is against the wall, imagine a spring behind you. And spring yourself forward and make the decision. And sometimes the decisions are hard. They're painful. But we need to make the decision, right? Because if we're going to continue in relationships and have healthy, whole, well relationships, we need to have a conversation, right? And I don't need to be sneaking around doing this and you sneaking around. What's the point? It's like, how we doing that? And this is Nurse Kecia talking. We ain't having that. You gonna come right or you ain't coming at all. Because I got options. No. Absolutely. So I appreciate you all for chiming in on that. And so as we close out, because we're gonna have to finish this. I didn't even get to the other. We spoke to the whole activity, so we have to do a part 2 of this. All right. Because I wanted us to go through a dating app. And set up a dating app.
Oh no, I've been done with that.
I want to teach people how to do it safely. Yeah. What are the warning signs? Like, what are we looking for? What are people saying that we need to watch out for? So that's the point. Not that I want to teach you, but I want you to pay attention to what's being said by people behind these screens that's trying to lure you in to do something that you don't want to do. Right? That's the conversation I want to have. Okay? And so that's going to be our part 2. So maybe we need to continue this next month.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in closing,
I need some advice.
As we close out, do anyone want to share like a takeaway from today?
Oh, everything.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Save that, but we're going to talk about that next session. The raging hormone. And she didn't just say raise, she said the raise. I love it. Do anybody else have something they want to share? Any takeaway?
6 years old, raise
There you go. Anybody else have something they want to share? Takeaway or something you want to
I
add?
enjoyed it. Me personally, I enjoyed it. I really did because I was really, wanted to have this class and stuff going on. So I enjoyed it. Excellent. Always excellent.
Thank you.
Always excellent.
Hold on. Let's talk one at a time. I'm sorry. What did you say now?
Oh, no, I'm just gonna say, hey, we started about getting older because you still, see so many people that still have fun and live their life and really content with
Yes.
their choices and stuff.
And that's the point.
Being safe.
It's okay to age and have fun and be safe. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and getting the knowledge that, transmitted diseases, some are in the same. And
Can you give those numbers again?
Sure.
Just those numbers about the statistics.
So CDC has posted that over 50% of our seniors are contracting STDs and STIs, and 37% HIV. That's high because we're not doing this. We're not being educated, and that's one of the biggest problems. Yeah.
Well, I like that. This is safe information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because one thing about it, no one can stop someone from doing it, but what I can do is arm you with the information, and now it's your responsibility to either take it or leave it, right? And hopefully before you do, something will probably go, ping, oh wait, I need not, or whatever the case is.
It's true. A lot of times we don't talk about it.
Right.
And it's happening.
It's happening.
It's all things.
Yeah. It's happening.
All things.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I'm the type of nurse that I'm a believer. I love God with all my heart, but I also know that there's knowledge that we don't know, and we need to get to know it so that we can make some better decisions. Right? Yes, ma'am.
And I think as we move forward with this series, it's gonna be well needed because especially Dr. David, because I do know people personally over 50 that have used online dating, and a couple of people have gotten married, they met their person, but other people over 50 have been in just some rough situations. So
Absolutely. Being able to get it back, it's like, wow. And being able to, just recognize that when someone is trying to just impede on your personal space, and just the wording that they use, and then you also have to check in with yourself, with someone else said, like, what's going on in my mind that's drawing me to this conversation? Again, and that's a whole other conversation, because obviously there's something in you that's connecting with that thing, because that thing becomes the mirror to what's already in you. Right? Yes, ma'am.
God made us to be in relationships. He gave you all your hormones and your emotions. So it's not strange that this is going on. So how do you manage it? How you deal with it in both the spiritual and the physical, the natural? What is your attitude?
Absolutely.
That's just my.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for bringing that up. So, with that being said, I want to say thank you. Oh, yes, ma'am. You have something?
what about if you share with one person? One person stops walking around, that makes it safer in my opinion. Except you're one person that you're intimate with, and you still be careful with your decision making. Absolutely. Study that person and watch it.
And still have a conversation.
Always.
Always. It really is about having a conversation. Just having that open dialogue, just back and forth, and building the trust reservoir, right? Just deepening it. And it comes about when we are open and honest with each other, right? Because people can tell, you can lie for so long, and after a while, that lie will catch up with you. You probably ain't saying nothing, but it's going to show up somewhere, right?
Thank you, Ms. Kecia.
You're welcome. Appreciate you all. Thank you again. And until next time. Part 2 next month. Stay healthy and well. And she said, just say no.
Why not? Can we invite her?